So that's now 3 wins on the spin, but wins against Chelsea, Leicester and Arsenal. Phil, that's pretty good.
It's impressive. We said during the break there, the win against Chelsea, the win tonight was in front of their home fans. They've not had home fans for a long time, and there's a little bit of a swagger and a confidence and a belief. And I think he's not scored for 3 games. It's coincided with a little bit of change of tactics, sitting a little bit deeper, and he's had to play a team game even though he wants to score goals, and he's worked his socks off, Calvert-Lewin. He's someone that when the season gets into that after Christmas where he'll need to keep scoring goals and he'll get more chances, but for the moment he's playing for the team and the team are defending fantastically.
And for Everton, I mean, they started off the season so well. They went through a little bit of a wobbly patch where they took 4 points from 6 games. Now they've found their form again. In stark contrast, we've got Arsenal. 1 win in 10, and 15th in the table is just not where you would expect to see Arsenal.
You wouldn't expect them to be there, but at the moment, especially with them not firing, not creating, it's not a massive surprise that they are where they are. I think what we saw, especially with the goals tonight and the way they're playing, again, you know, not a lot of creation, and even when they did, there weren't enough people in the box. But what you want is, if you're not scoring enough, then you want to make sure that you're defending resolutely. You've got to be tighter on people. I thought that the set-piece goal was poor. I thought that the lead-up to their first goal could have been avoided, and all about just hard work, getting close to people, making it more difficult for them, because Arsenal are going through a phase at the moment where they do not seem to be able to create the kind of chances that are giving them opportunities to score and giving their forwards opportunities to score. So they have to be exemplary in another area, and it's defending and being a little bit more resolute on the set pieces, because that was far too easy. Pepe marking Mina, you know, when you've got David Luiz and Rob Holding in it. Those are the kind of small margins, what you've got to do to stop those things happening, and it's not happening at the minute.
When you think of the team that Mikel Arteta has, we always say they're lacking creativity, they're lacking that spark. Can he bring that out of those players, do you think?
Well, I think that he like I said, we said at the start of the show, he'd done that at the start of the season. Maybe it was that new manager bounce and everybody was quite enthusiastic about the tactics and what was going on. But what I think we've seen with these players is that a lot of them are not good enough to sustain what he wants. Yes, in the one-off games, in the games that we had with the FA Cup final and the way what they've done in the semi-finals and the finals, yeah, it worked brilliantly. But what it's shown is that he hasn't got the calibre of player to continue to play at a consistent level. And you've got young players who are coming into a team that are struggling, and it can have an effect on them. Like I mentioned, Gabriel, Saka, Eddie Nketiah, Joe Willock, you know, Reece Nelson when he's fit. All these guys are coming into a team that are really struggling to do something, and they've got a lot of pressure on them.
And you know what? It's very easy, especially in the climate we're in.
Yeah.
We're always quick to call out the manager. I think some people have said, you know, Arteta needs to do more. But actually, when you look at this team, do you feel those players just need to do more when they're out there?
100%. You look at what happened when he came in. You look at the tactics today, defending deep, resolute, solid. That's what they were like. And then on the counter-attack, they had Lacazette, they had Aubameyang, who would produce moments of magic, but they had a great spirit. I don't see that spirit now in these group of players. I don't see that resolute. I think Righty hits it right on the head when he says you have to excel at one thing. I think when he came in, they were excelling at a lot of different things. Defending, they kept clean sheets. They scored on the counter-attack. Today, they didn't keep clean sheet. And on the counter-attack, I never thought at any moment, apart from the last 2 minutes, 3-4 minutes, they showed any kind of desire to want to go and win a game, to score a goal. And I think that must be a big concern. This is not a Mikel Arteta problem, even though it will be his problem. Then players ultimately are just not good enough to sustain a level of consistency.
They're going to have to, for me, Bill, they're going to have to. I think they've come out and backed him, and rightly so. Yeah. He's a good coach, and they're going to have to do something for him in January. Because I think with the current players he's got, I'm not saying Arsenal are going to go down. Of course I'm not saying that. But it's the kind of form where if you can't arrest that kind of like slide, you will get dragged in. And then you're going to have to be under real pressure to get yourselves out of it. Then people have to perform to a certain level to get yourselves out of it, because other teams can smell that blood and they will go for you. It's a very ruthless league, Seema.
Yeah.
I think when you see the league table, you see Southampton, Leicester up there, Everton in second. Arsenal are at that level with these. Arsenal are every bit as good as Everton, or Arsenal are every bit as good as Southampton and Leicester, because I watched Leicester the other night. Arsenal have still got those types of players. Those players need to start performing. Yeah. I think it's easy just to say Mikel Arteta this, Mikel Arteta or the manager. These players have to start performing. to their absolute maximum. Aubameyang, Willian, Pepe. Pepe and Willian tonight could easily, in the positions that they got to, have been match winners. They weren't, and they need to start performing.
It's interesting because both of you have played for clubs in big dressing rooms before, and we talk about leaders, we talk about that mentality. Tony Adams, Martin Keown, Vieira, the types of players that you played with, they don't have that sort of character in that dressing room. If you had that sort of mentality and personality, do you think it would help to bring more out of these players?
I think it's a different time, it's a different era, and I always find it I find it uncomfortable going back to say, oh, the leaders and that. I think that it's personal pride in your performance and how you want to play for the team and what the manager sees in you to pick you to play in that team. And that's all you should be worried about. People are talking about leaders. When you're on there, you do your job. Yes, the captain's going to lead and kind of tell you where to go and tell you push in here and this and that. But in the main, you just want you as a player to do your particular job. I remember the last thing Tony Adams would say before he went out, every single game is, do your job. And that is, you know, do your job and put in a pride in your performance.
And I think what Wright is saying there is absolutely right, is that when you've got a defensive corner, if your job is to mark Yeremina, do your job. Mark Yeremina, block him. If your job is to go and attack the ball from that corner, go and attack the ball. And I don't want to single out Pepe, but what I saw from him and Willian tonight was players that weren't taking responsibility for their own performance. Poor crosses, sloppy passes. Even when, I think we're going to highlight it in a minute, when the ball's on the left-hand side, get in the box to try and score a goal. That is the basics. That is what Everton are doing. They're doing the basics of football, that actually when you go onto a field, you step over that white line, run hard, work hard, put the absolute maximum determination to try and win a game of football. And I think I saw tonight that at times Pepe was just 17 yards out, 20 yards out when the ball's on this side. That is not actually going to help your team get from 15th in the league. Arsenal Football Club, 15th in the league. If Newcastle win tonight, they go what? I think that's another 6 points. That is a real big worry for Arsenal.
Well, you mentioned that we're going to see that run from Arsenal's performance today. We're going to show you that after